44 Wine TCM.
Good evening, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Welcome to TCM as we begin a lineup of night movies. We'll be doing this every Friday for the rest of the month. Specifically, we'll feature films with prominent nocturnal settings. Coming up, a slate of movies where most of the action occurs over the course of a single night. We begin with an underappreciated thriller from director Alfred Hitchcock. From MGM in 1948, Jimmy Stewart leads the cast of Rope. Bulk of the movie takes place during a dinner party at the apartment of Brandon and Philip, two highly intelligent young men who are nearly as smart as they think they are, and they think they're brilliant. They appear rather blind to the reality that they're also sociopaths. They're played skillfully and repugnantly by John Dahl and Farley Granger. Brandon and Philip have committed a murder. We're not betraying a key plot point by revealing that. The killing happens in the first moments of the picture, just before the dinner guests arrive. As the night progresses, anxiety escalates for the two hosts and for their guests, some of whom are expecting the victim to arrive soon. Jimmy Stewart is among the guests, playing Brandon's favorite professor from his old boarding school days. Arthur Lawrence wrote the adapted screenplay based on a 1929 British play called Rope's End. It was inspired by the infamous Leopold and Loeb murder case of 1924. Nathan Leopold and Richard Loeb were two wealthy Chicago college students, longtime friends. They were so certain of their own brilliance, they believed they could commit the perfect crime. Instead, they found themselves on trial for the senseless and brutal murder of a 14-year-old boy named Bobby Franks. Rope is notable for being Hitchcock's first film in color, but it's probably most famous for its use of lengthy takes, complicated shots that last roughly 8 to 10 minutes without an edit, or at least seemingly without an edit. Hitchcock cheated that a bit, though he did so skillfully. The long takes required set pieces that could move out of the way as the camera moved, and of course no flubs by the actors. While some argue the film's technique was merely a gimmick, that ignores the reality that some gimmicks are good gimmicks. It's an effective way to present what was basically a filmed play. And Hitchcock's signature style is always present, with suspense mounting throughout the picture, right up to the film's closing moments at the end of a long night. From MGM in 1948, also with Cedric Hardwicke, Edith Evanson, Joan Chandler, and Constance Collier, this is Rope. Rope's screenwriter Arthur Lawrence felt that Alfred Hitchcock made a rare misstep by actually showing the murder at the beginning of the picture. I think he did it because he had a failure of nerve, Lawrence later said. David was supposed to remain unseen at the beginning, which would have shifted the audience's expectations. Had Brandon and Philip actually committed a murder, or were they just toying with their guests? Lawrence also said he and Hitchcock never discussed the inspiration for the film, the murder case of Leopold and Loeb from the 1920s in Chicago. Although Hitch didn't deny it, Lawrence never quite understood why Hitch chose to ignore the connection. Hitchcock also ignored the intimate connection between the two young men in the movie, but that was practically a mandate of the era. It's subtly implied in the film, but to say same-sex attraction was taboo in 1948 is putting it mildly. Coming up, we continue our theme of stories that happen mostly over a single night with a sparkling romance starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. From writer-director Richard Linklater, Before Sunrise is next on Turner Classic Movies.
Next on TCM, Before Sunrise. Then Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And later, Night on Earth. We like the nightlife on TCM. The